Earlier this year, myself and 3 others started this Women's Going for Refuge community, and this is where we're based, 11 miles from Taraloka.
So in the early days, the movement was small enough for all the women who'd asked for ordination and all women order members to be on the same retreats together. So we didn't really need an ordination process. However, in the early 80s, we thought it would be a good idea to have a course comparable to the men's 3-month Tuscany retreats. Unfortunately, there still weren't enough Dharmacharinis for several of us to be away from our public centres for that length of time. However, at the end of 82 and 83, we did run a short course which culminated in us spending a month on an island off the west coast of Scotland, and after that several women were ordained. But after that we felt we needed to put our energies into fundraising and finding a women's retreat centre. And Banti very much encouraged us in this. He did point out that the men's ordination course only began after Padmaloka had been going for 5 years, and that we needed to have that kind of long-term perspective. And Taraloka opened in 1985.
More systematic courses were begun in 1986 by Ashokashri, Vidyashri and Sangadevi, and since that time over 40 women have been ordained, more than doubling the existing number. Most years we've had a month's retreat as part of the course, and these stand out for me as highlights. It's more like a large community of women living together, and we've had the opportunity to engage in some very colourful and potent ritual, as well as study and meditation. Another big step forward was when Ratnashuri, Sangadevi and Shrimala began conducting the ordinations in 1989. The main difficulty we've had in running the courses has been the lack of Dharmacharinis free to devote all their time to a women's ordination process. Now that we have a full-time women's ordination team, and we've run 5 retreats together over the last 3 months, we can really begin to see what a positive effect it's having.
Between now and the end of next year, what we want to do is to meet every woman on retreat who's requested ordination. We're getting to know people, and the feedback we've had from mitras who've been on retreat with us so far is very appreciative. Between retreats back here in the community, we've got a daily schedule of meditating together, a silent breakfast, and then a brief reporting in, and then getting on with our day's work, and with chapter meetings in the evening and occasional study. Dharmadin is our treasurer. She's also setting up a charity for us, Sarana Trust. Samatar is our fundraiser, and Omar does some secretarial work and pays regular visits to the women in Croydon. Recently I've just taken over from Samatar as secretary to the team, and this involves acknowledging an increasing number of ordination requests, dealing with general correspondence, and keeping the whole team informed of any business. We've briefly visited the Manchester and Birmingham centres this year to meet the women mitras, and we'll make a couple of visits elsewhere later in the year.
From our discussions with Taraloka, it became clear that our vision and theirs couldn't be encompassed within one retreat centre. So a year ago, in June 91, we began fundraising for a permanent women's ordination retreat centre. And from people's response so far, it certainly seems we have their backing. Our fundraising has 2 aspects. Our first aim was simply to ensure that an ordination team and this community came into existence. We need to raise £36,000 over 2 years for community support and administration costs. This is being raised in a variety of ways. For example, last winter 2 women's teams ran Christmas gift shops in conjunction with Windhorse Trading, one in Manchester and one in Glasgow. And 6 women worked in Festive Flair, a Christmas shop window painting project run in conjunction with Taraloka. In addition, we've received donations and bankers' orders. So of the £36,000 we need, we've raised just over £27,000. Now that we've come together as a community, we're focusing on raising the capital for a permanent property. We want to buy a place by the end of next year. We're looking for somewhere the size of Vajraloka, probably in the Welsh or Scottish borders, Cumbria or Northumberland. We need to raise £100,000 capital. So what have we raised so far? In donations, we've received just over £11,000. On the Three Peaks Walk, we look set to raise £4,800. Many people have given generously, but we still have quite a way to go. In June this year, we launched a pledge appeal. We're looking for 400 people to agree to raise £250 each by the end of June '93. So far, 57 people have signed a pledge, bringing our capital fund to almost £30,000. If you haven't signed a pledge, why not consider doing so? If it seems daunting, find a friend or two and sign one together. For further details, contact myself, care of Tara Loka.
So just think, when you're raising your £250, what effect that's going to have on the future of the Women's Order.